Yo, what is going on guys? It's Ant and welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be doing a Pokemon Violet Hardcore Nuzlocke. Well, only being able to use water type shinies only. I've absolutely butchered that, but you know what? I digress. Let's continue. Guys, if you're new to the channel and you find yourself enjoying the content, make sure you smash that subscribe button. I'm really thankful again for all the support on the channel lately. And like I said in the last video, we are back. So there's going to be a lot more content coming out just like this. Also, guys, before we jump into things, I just want to display a couple of rules on the screen for any of you who don't know. And they're only going to flash up for a minute, so feel free to pause. But continuing on with that, let's move on. Now, because this is a shiny water type only challenge, I can't go pick up a Pokemon in Poco Path because there's no water types to catch. So I'm going to move on to past a lighthouse. And while I'm here, I actually go find myself a shiny Psyduck. It's pretty awesome actually because this was found like almost immediately. So I go capture this up, and with that done we can go and move on. And basically where I'm going to go and move on up to is the end of this route by the Pokemon Center, where I'm going to go do a bit of training. And with this Pokemon trained up to a good enough level, I'm going to go fight Nemona, my first real rival battle of this challenge. So I'm going to start off with Psyduck because it's the only Pokemon I have that I can use. I'm going to go for 2 water guns and take down the Fuecoco. And then next out comes out her Pawmi. Now Pawmi is actually super effective against this and terrestrializes too, so it's kind of scary, but it is also fine because I'm going to go for 1 water gun and knock it down into half-life. It's going to return a Thunder Shock after, which will do quite a bit of damage, but we go finish this off with the second water gun and defeat Nemona. From here then, I do everything in the Uber Academy and I go and move on into the actual world. And while out here, I'm actually hunting for quite a bit and I find myself a shiny Azoro, so I go capture this up as well. And with both of these two leveled up quite a bit, I'm going to go get into the fight with Katy, the first gym leader of the run, who's a bug type trainer. I'm also going to go buy myself a Mystic Water as well to make sure that my attacks do that little bit more damage. And with this here, I'm also going to terrestrialize as well. So with the terrestrialized Psyduck here, we're going to go for a Water Pulse and we're going to go take down the Nimble with a one-shot. Next up then, she sends out Tara and Tula, and again with another Water Pulse, we're going to knock it down into really low life and just miss a one-shot, and we're going to go take it down on the second turn. After this then, she sends out her final Pokemon, which is Teddiursa, and this is also going to go terrestrialize into a Terra Bug type. 1 Water Pulse here will knock it just below half-life, and then on the next turn we're going to go finish this off with a second Water Pulse and defeat Katy for the first gym badge of a run. From here then, I'm also going to go into the other direction and start off with my first Titan as well, which is the Titan Klawf. So Titan Klawf here is going to take 2 water pulses from a terrestrialized Psyduck, and this is going to take it down into the cutscene where we go get into the second fight alongside Arven. And when we go get into this, again, it's going to be a quite easy fight, but we've got to be kind of cautious as well because we don't want to knock it into its ability. 1 terrestrialized water pulse here will knock it down just above half-life, so it doesn't go into the ability just yet. And on this turn, I'm going to go hit it with a second water pulse and knock it down into very low life. It does go into Anger Shell here as well, but this isn't going to matter because Shelder is also going to go hit this with a water gun, take down Klawf, and that's the first Titan of a run defeated. Now with this, I head actually all the way up into Cascarafa, and I go pick myself up some leftovers. I'm also going to go pick myself up a Soothe-Bell as well with the money that I've got to try and get some friendship with my Azoro, so I can go and evolve it into a Marill. And now with both Marill and Psyduck, we're going to go ahead into the second gym leader of the run, which is Brassius, the grass type gym leader. So to begin this fight, he's going to send out Petilil, and I'm going to send out my Marill. Marill's going to terrestrialize into a Terra Fairy type to remove that weakness to grass type moves, and I'm going to go for a bounce which puts the Petilil onto very low life. It's going to hit me with a Mega Drain, but as said before, this is no longer super effective, so it doesn't do too much damage. And then I'm going to go take down the Petilil with another bounce on the next turn. With this done then, Brassius is going to send out a Smoliv, and this is going to go down to a one-shot from bounce. And then lastly, he sends out his Sudowoodo. Now that Sudowoodo's here, I can really do what I actually intended to do from the start. So what I'm going to do to begin with is I'm going to go hit this with Charm and lower its attack stat by -2. Quite nicely as well, it misses Rock Throw there, so that does help quite a lot. And we hit this with another Charm on the next turn as well and put it into -4. It's then going to hit us with Trailblaze, which is not doing much damage at all. And then from here, we're also going to go hit this with another third Charm and put it down into -6 attack. And now all we can do is just spam bounce and just wait for it to go down. So 1 bounce there, only does about a little over a fourth of its life. The second bounce there puts it into quite low, and it does paralyze your Suddo Wuddo as well, which helps a lot. Now unfortunately, we've actually run out of bounce PP now, so we've got to go instead for things like Slam. And after a couple more turns, we do put it into such very low life, we can actually go finish this off with a Bubble Beam, and that's Brassius defeated for the second gym badge of a run. Once defeating Brassius as well, Maro's also going to go and evolve into an Azumarill, and we're going to move on from here back over to Cascarafa, sell a couple items, and then we're also going to go buy a Mirror Herb. And with this Mirror Herb then, we're going to head back over to Levincia, go a little past it, and go find ourselves a Makuhita. With Makuhita, we're just going to capture this up real quickly. And we're also going to capture ourselves a Basculin just outside of Levincia as well. And with this done, we're going to be able to set up our Azumarill the way we want. So we set up a picnic with our Azumarill holding the Mirror Herb. And we go teach our Azumarill both the moves that we want it to learn, which are both Belly Drum and Aqua Jet. And with this done, we're going to go ahead into the fight with Nemona. So we're going to start off with my Azumarill here. On the first turn against a Rockruff, we're going to go set ourselves up with a Belly Drum. So Azumarill from the Belly Drum goes up to +6, we go take down Rockruff with an Aqua Jet, we go take down Pawmi with an Aqua Jet, and then Crocodile comes in, terrestrializes into a Terra Fire type, and we also go finish this off with an Aqua Jet and sweep our whole team. And with this done there, we're going to go ahead into the actual fight with Iono, the third gym leader of the run, and just going to start off with Watchel. So Watchel here up against my Azumarill, we're going to begin by terrestrializing into a Terra Fairy type once again to remove that weakness to electric type attacks and take a Spark. From here, after taking a Spark, we Belly Drum up to +6 attack, and I'm going to go for an Aqua Jet and take down the Watchel. Next up then, we've got Belly Bolt. I'll go hit this with an Aqua Tail and one-shot this. And then nextly we send out Luxio, which gives us an Intimidate attack drop, but even at +5, an Aqua Jet will take this down. And then lastly she sends out Miss Magius. And Miss Magius again, just so he can't hit us with Confuse Ray, we go for an Aqua Jet instead of Aqua Tail. This is still a one-shot anyway, and we go take this down. And with this done, that's Iono defeated for the third gym badge of a run. Now if Iono defeated, I was having another look around for another Pokemon for my team, and this was really random because again I wasn't looking around for long, but just out of nowhere I found myself a shiny Finison. So I quickly go save my adventure just in case I mess anything up, and I go capture this up. And with my new Pokemon now, we're going to go ahead into the Bombirdier Titan fight as well. So to begin off with this, I'm going to send out my Azumarill, terrestrialize into a Terra Fairy type, and hit the Bombirdier with a Play Rough, which is going to take it down. And after taking this down now, we go get into the second fight against Bombirdier alongside Arven. And once again, another Play Rough on the first turn. It's just going to go take down the Bombirdier with a one-shot, and that's Bombirdier defeated. With Bombirdier defeated now, I'm also going to go get into my first Team Star fight of a run against Giacomo of Team Star. So to begin off here, he's going to send out Pawniard. I'm going to go send out my Azumarill. And Azumarill here, one Play Rough is going to take down the Pawniard. And then with the second Starmobile here, we're going to go for Play Rough once, knock it down just above half-life, take a Swift on the next turn before doing another Play Rough and putting it down into very low life. And on the next turn, I thought I'd finish this off with an Aqua Jet. We actually put it into even more really low life, and then go finish it off with a second Aqua Jet on the next turn and defeat Giacomo. And with Giacomo down, I'm also going to go do another Team Star fight as well, which is against Mela of Team Star. So Mela of Team Star here is going to start off with Torkoal, and I'm going to start off with my Psyduck. Psyduck here is going to terrestrialize as well, go for Water Pulse, put Torkoal down into really low life, and also confuse it as well, which is quite nice. But Torkoal does get past the confusion and hits us with a Clear Smog. It doesn't really do too much, and on this next turn we can go finish this off with another Water Pulse. With Torkoal down now, we've got to go against the Shedar Starmobile. We take a Blazing Torque and hit this back with another Water Pulse, and this is going to do about a third of its life. On this next turn here, just because I feel like I'm possibly going to be taken down, I'm going to make a switch here over into my Finison. Finison takes a Blazing Torque, and from here can also hit this with a Charm as well and lower its attack stat. The second Charm on the next turn is going to put this down into -4, and then I'm going to make one last switch as well over into my Azumarill. We do take a Screech here, which puts us down into -2 defense, but that's fine because when we take Blazing Torque, it's still only doing 7 damage. Even though it burns us as well, it's still fine. I'm going to still go for the Belly Drum anyway. And from here, it's going to take 2 more Aqua Jets. And then we take down the Shedar Starmobile and defeat Mela. Now after this, I'm also going to go hunt around for another Pokemon as well. And after looking around for a while, we go find ourselves a Weasel, and this pretty much almost instantly evolves into a Floatzel. And with our new Pokemon as well, we're also going to go get into the Cascarafa gym against Kofu. So Kofu here is going to lead off with Veluza, and I'm going to start with my Floatzel. And Floatzel here is going to begin by going for a Bulk Up, as we take a pluck from the Veluza that also crits us as well. Now 2 bites from here will put Veluza into very low life, and we go finish it off with an Aqua Jet. Next up then comes the Trio, and what my hope was here was that we was going to maybe flinch it, but that unfortunately doesn't happen. We take a headbutt, and also Sandstorm's kind of wrecking us as well, so I'm going to have to switch here from my Floatzel over into my Psyduck, staying against the Waterfalls here, take a headbutt on the next turn and hopefully hit it, but unfortunately we flinch. Now because I know Soap's going to go down, I'm going to make a switch here over into my Finazon and see if that can finish the job instead. So we take a headbutt, it doesn't do way too much damage. I go for an Aqua Jet here, which puts Wugtrio into really low life, as then Wugtrio goes down to the Sandstorm. So after this then, Kofu sends out Crabominal, terrestrializes it, goes for a Slam as I've switched over into my Azumarill. It misses, which is nice. And from here with the Azumarill, due to the Sandstorm inflicting a bit of damage here and there, I can go for 2 Play Roughs, take down his final Pokemon, and earn myself the 4th gym badge of a run. And with the 4th gym badge, I'm also going to head up into the next city as well. And with most of my Pokemon at level cap now, I'm just going to train my other 2 up. And during this training, my Psyduck's going to go and evolve into a Golduck. With Psyduck now evolved into a Golduck, I'm going to go back over to Cascarafa and pick myself up a few more items before getting into the fight with Larry. So to begin off in this fight, I'm going to lead off with my Azumarill, and I'm going to make a hard switch to begin with over into Golduck. Golduck here is going to take a Yawn, and from here he's also going to go for a Rain Dance as well, as it goes for another Yawn. Now Golduck falling asleep, it's not too much of a problem. I'm going to make a hard switch here over into my Azumarill, take a Slam, and then it's going to go for a Yawn on me as well. Now this isn't an issue because I'm going to Belly Drum here. I'm going to go for an Aqua Jet and take down the Kamala on the next turn. Now the Yawn earlier wasn't an issue because when I do fall asleep, my Azumarill is going to eat the Chesto Berry and wake back up. Now next up comes out the Dunsparce as well, which also goes down to a 1-shot from Aqua Jet due to the boost in the rain. And then next we've got Staraptor, which is going to terrestrialize into a Terra Normal type. And again, because of the rain boost, 1 more Aqua Jet will 1-shot the Staraptor, and we take this down and win the fight. Next up then after this, we have to get into another fight with Nemona straight after the gym, and this is also why we led Azumarill earlier, because we don't get to change our party before this fight, and Azumarill is just the answer to this fight. So I'm going to start with Azumarill as planned, take the Accelerock, Belly Drum up to +6, take another Accelerock for taking down the Lycanroc with Aqua Jet. Hormo comes after, and we also take this down with another Aqua Jet after. Then out comes Goomy, who's also going to go down to a 1-shot from Aqua Jet, and then Leslie, she sends out Skeledirge, which again at +6, 1 more Aqua Jet will take this down with a 1-shot, and we defeated Nemona. With Nemona then finished, I'm then going to go fight the Orthworm Titan. So the Orthworm, the Lurking Steel Titan, it actually goes down to a 1-shot from Low Kick, and then we're going to go get into the rematch with it alongside Arven. And alongside Arven in this fight, again I'm leading off with Floatzel, go for a Low Kick, put it into really low life due to a crit. Orthworm goes for an Iron Tail that misses, and the unhelpful Arven goes for a Screech when he could have just took this down. But that's fine though, because I'm going to go finish this off in the next turn with an Aqua Jet, defeat Orthworm, and that's the 3rd Titan of a run defeated. And with this then we head up to the 6th gym leader of the run against gym leader Ryme. With gym leader Ryme here, I'm going to lead off with Azumarill and Floatzel, and Bayonet keeps hitting us with Sucker Punch. Normally I leave Bayonet because I feel like it's just a Pokemon we can afford to leave in this fight, but because of Floatzel's quite low defenses, we actually are going to have to probably take this down. On the next turn, after breaking the Mimikyu's disguise and doubling up on it, we can go take this down with an Aqua Jet. I'm actually starting to try and hit the Bayonet as well to do a bit of damage to it, as now Floatzel's getting into quite low life. So on the next turn, before Bayonet can actually hurt anything, I'm going to go take this down with an Aqua Jet. I'm going to go take down the Houndstone with a Crunch as well. Then Ron sends out her last Pokemon, which is Toxtricity, and she terrestrializes it into a Terra Ghost type. Now from here, I'm going to go hit this with an Aqua Jet, take this down into Half-Life. I'm going to go finish it off with a Crunch on the next turn and defeat Ryme for the 6th gym badge of a run. Also, with Ryme defeated, my level cap raises that little bit higher, and with a bit of help from one of my friends, I'm going to go join a public lobby. I'm going to go give a rare candy to my Finazon, and I'm going to go evolve my Finazon into a Palafin. And next, leaving my Palafin, we're going to go get into the fight with Atticus, a team star. He's a poison type trainer, and I'm going to start off with my Palafin and go for a flip turn on the stun tank. And what this is going to do is going to change the form when we do bring it back in later in the fight. With this then, against the stun tank, I'm going to go hit this with an Aqua Jet and take this down with a one shot. Then next up comes out Muck, which is another 2 shots to Aqua Jet to take this down. Next leave Red Broom, another 2 shots with Aqua Jet will take this down. And then lastly they send out the Navi Starmobile. Now with this, I'm going to go make a hard switch over into Soap. And while doing all of this, there actually was rain in the background, which was really helpful. So this is why Aqua Jet was doing so much damage. As you can see with the Water Pulse, it doesn't do too much damage, and we do get poison from Noxious Talk. So I'm going to go have to make a hard switch here. So I switch Soap back over into my Palafin, and we take a spin out from the Navi Starmobile, which doesn't do much damage. Now from here, when we hit Jet Punch, we're going to knock it down into Half-Life. And it is going to set up some Toxic Debris as well, which isn't going to do too much because we can stay in. Go for 2 more Jet Punches with Palafin and defeat Atticus, a team star. Now before we're going to go get into another gym as well, I'm also going to go take on my next Titan. So I'm going to lead off with my Golduck against Iron Treads here. I'm going to set up a Rain Dance on the first turn, just so I can do that extra bit of damage when we do hit this. I'll go hit this with a Water Pulse as well, which knocks it just above Half-Life. And from here, I'll go make a hard switch over into my Floatzel. Take a rapid spin from Iron Treads there. And then I'm going to go hit this with a low kick, which is going to take this down. Now with this taken down, we're also going to go get into the rematch against it straight after, alongside Arven. And I'm going to go for a low kick here as well. And it's not going to do way too much damage. And it's going to hit me with Iron Head as well, which does quite a lot for being not very effective. It was a crit though, so it is to be expected. And like Arven does as usual, doesn't really help. Goes and hits us with his scary face. But actually, Arven is quite helpful in this fight, because on the next turn after I hit this with another low kick, and Arven's good villain here goes for a Fire Fang. It actually flinches Iron Treads. So from here, I can go for another low kick and finish this off. With Iron Treads down, I'm going to go ahead for the 7th gym of the run. But before I can go into this 7th gym, I have to get into another fight with Nemona. So she leads off a Lycan Rock. I'm going to start off with Palafin and go for a flip turn and knock this down into one shot. After doing this, I'll go throw in my Golduck. And I'll go make another hard switch here back over into my Palafin. We do take a Sand Attack, which is slightly annoying, but overall it's fine because we hit Jet Punch and take down the Lycan Rock. After this then, Pormok comes. We go hit this with another Jet Punch. Then take a Thunder Wave. I do decide to stay in here and take the risk of being stopped by paralysis, and we go finish this off. And I continue to stay in. There's another 2 Jet Punches after this. We take down the Sliggoo. And then we're up against the Skeledirge, which terrestrializes and hits us with the Torch Song after taking a Jet Punch that puts it into Half-Life. And with this, I know that if I stay in with Palafin, then it's possible that we're going to be taken down. I make a hard switch over into my Golduck and take a Snarl. And on the next turn, I go finish this off with a Water Pulse and defeat the Skeledirge. Now with this done, we've got the 7th gym leader of the run, Gym Leader Tulip, a Psychic type trainer who leads off with Farigiraf. So I'm going to start off here with my Floatzel, and I'm going to bulk up on the first turn because all of Farigiraf's moves are very physical. And on the first turn, it actually sets up a Reflect as well to try and make us do less damage. I'm also stalling a bit to try and make the Reflect go away. And when it does, and while I'm at +4, I'm going to go for a Crunch and take down the Farigiraf. Next turn then, she sends out Guarded One. This is a one-shot to Crunch. Then after, she sends out Esperanza as well, so we one-shot this as well. And then finally, we're up against her last Pokemon, which is Florges. So Florges is going to terrestrialize into a Terra Psychic type. Another +4 Crunch will take this down. And that's how we earn the 7th gym badge of a run. So with this done now, we've only got one last gym leader to fight. So we're going to go get into the fight now against gym leader Grusha, who's going to lead off with his Frostmoth. I'm going to send out my Azumarill to begin with, and from here they're going to set up a Tailwind, but that's not really anything I'm worried about. It actually helps because they don't do any damage to us, and I'm going to go set up a Belly Drum. After this, one Aqua Jet will take down the Frostmoth, and then nextly they send out Beartic, which is another 2-shot to a +6 Aqua Jet, so we go take this down. Nextly they send out Titan, and it's another 2-shot to Aqua Jet, so we go finish this off as well. Now we're up against Grusha's last Pokemon, which is Altaria. So Altaria here is going to take a +6 Aqua Jet, get put down into one shot, hit us back with Ice Beam as well, which isn't going to do much damage at all. And then we're going to go finish this off with one less Aqua Jet and defeat Grusha for the 8th gym badge of the run. So before I move on, I feel like our team's quite a bit inadequate still at this point. So I wanted to look around for another Pokemon. And while looking around where my next team star fight is, I actually find myself a Wug trio, so I go capture this up quickly, and with this caught up, we're going to go ahead into the next team star fight of a run against Ortega, a team star, who's a fairy type trainer. So I'm going to start off here with Azumarill against their Azumarill, and to make sure I can get my setups done very safely, I'm going to use Charms against the Azumarill to lower its attack stat. Now, just like before, in a lot of the other fights I've been doing, between every turn, I'm also going to be using Protect, just to regain a bit of HP every time. And after doing this for a while, I decided I'm just going to go for an Aqua Jet just to see how much damage I'm doing. It's doing absolutely nothing. I then go plug myself to +6 as well with Belly Drum, and then go for another Aqua Jet just to see how much the difference is again. And after another 2 more Aqua Jets from there, we go take down the Azumarill. Ortega then sends out a Wigglytuff next. We go finish this off with another Aqua Jet after. And then nextly, Ortega sends out Dash Bun. Now, Dash Bun has hit us twice here with Baby Dollars and puts us down to around about +4. But 2 Aqua Jets is enough to go finish this off. And then nextly, Ortega sends out the Revergroom Rookbar Starmobile. And it's hitting us with Steel Roller as well, which isn't doing way too much damage. As I'll go hit this with Charm as I want to low down its attack. Between all of this again, we're still going for Protect to get that leftovers recovery. And after a while, I'll go hit this with an Aqua Jet, and it's actually not doing way too much damage either. Again, no, we keep this up because any chip damage is good. And then we're hit by a Confuse Ray by the Rookbar Starmobile. Now with this, we're going to have to switch because any confusion damage that's self-inflicted on ourselves at +4 could be fatal. So I'll make a switch here over into my Palafin. And what's good about Palafin as well is that it also knows Charm, so I can try and do this. But because of confusion, I'm going to switch out anyway, because when I do go switch back in, at least I'm going to be able to be in my other form. So I make a switch over into my Floatzel here, take a bit of damage, protect on the next turn to get a bit of HP back, get a bit more chip damage with Liquidation before taking a Confuse Ray once again, and then I'm going to switch. And this switches straight back over into my Palafin, who is now transformed due to the 0 to hero ability. And we're staying against a magical talk. Don't get confused this time, which is nice. And we're going to go lower its attack with Charm before going for another flip turn and switching once again. Now this switch here is back over into my Floatzel, who at this point can go for a Liquidation, knock it into quite low life, take a Confuse Ray, and because of this, once again, we're also going to switch. So we make a switch here from Floatzel back over into Palafin, take a magical talk, doesn't do way too much damage, and we're going to go hit this with a Jet Punch here. And it should have been enough to take down the Rookbar Starmobile and defeat Ortega, but for some reason it's still alive with 0 HP, so I'm like, okay, whatever. We're going to take it down on the next turn with another Jet Punch and defeat Ortega, a team star. I feel my team is still lacking at this point, so I started searching again in the Great Power Day and Sea and ended up finding a shiny Veluza, so I go capture that out quickly. After this then, we're also going to go get into the Dondozo Titan, our final Titan of the run. So against this here, I'm going to lead with my Azumarill. I'm going to go for a Charm because I don't want it to do too much damage to me. And it misses Aqua Tail, which is nice. After this then, I Belly Drum and go put myself up to +6. Take an Aqua Tail, which doesn't do too much damage. And then I'm going to go finish this off with a Play Rough on the next turn and defeat the Dondozo Titan. Now Dondozo defeated, we're going to go get into the rematch against it and basically do the same thing again. So I'm going to hit this with Charm to lower its attack stat a bit. It's going to hit Greedent with Water Pulse. And then it's going to take a bit of damage from a takedown. From here on the next turn, I'm going to Belly Drum myself up to +6. And after a couple turns of missing, we do actually hit the Dondozo with a Play Rough. Take this down, and that's Dondozo defeated. But this isn't all the Titans defeated, because now we've also got to get into another Titan fight against a Tatsugiri. So against a Tatsugiri here, I'm again going to try and set up a Belly Drum after taking a Muddy Water, which actually does quite a bit of damage to us as well. I'm going to Protect on the next turn here, and then I'm going to go hit this with a Play Rough, which is just going to go take this down nice and easily. And with this done, that's all the Titans finished. And we're going to go get into the final team star fight of the run as well against Eri. So to start things off here against Eri, I'm going to hit this with a Psycho Cut and take down her first Pokemon with a one-shot. Next up then she sends out Passimian, and we put this down into very low life with Psycho Cut before taking a Seed Bomb, and then we go finish this off with an Aqua Jet on the next turn. Next up then she sends out Lucario, and I'm going to make a switch here with my very low life Veluza and switch over into my Azumarill. So Lucario here goes for a Dark Pulse, which doesn't do very much damage. and then hits me with an Aura Sphere as well, which also doesn't do very much damage. With this, I'm going to Belly Drum and put myself up to +6, as I know I can set up against this Pokemon. Protect between every turn as well to get a bit more leftover recovery life back. And from here, I'm going to go for a Play Rough and take down the Lucario with a one-shot. Next up then, they send out Annihilate, who actually burns me with a Fire Punch, very unfortunately. But I'm still going to go take this down with a one-shot from Play Rough. And then after this, we got the final Pokemon, which is the Calf Starmobile. And this keeps trying to set up a Shift Gear. Play Rough and put it down into one shot, very low life. And then on the next turn, I hit this with the second Play Rough, take it down, and defeat Airy. Now me, I still don't have very much Pokemon to go into the Elite Four with. I'm currently sat with 5 Pokemon, so I'm definitely going to need one more. But my team still doesn't feel good enough as well. So myself after this, I'm going to go find myself 2 more Pokemon. So I'm searching around for a while and I end up finding myself a shiny Slowpoke. I go evolve this into a shiny Slowbro a bit later on. And I also go find myself a shiny Vaporeon too, which will be a huge addition to my team. And now there's just a few things that we need to do before we can move on. So from here, I'm going to go capture myself a Love Disc to begin with, because I'm going to go give the Mirror Herb to my Vaporeon. And I'm going to go get my Vaporeon to learn the move Wish. Now with this, we've still got quite a lot of money as well, so I'm going to go back over to Cascarartha, buy myself 2 more leftovers, and then we're going to go ahead into the Elite Four as well. So to start this off, we're up against Rika of the Elite Four, who starts off with a Wish Cash. And I'm going to go take this down with 3 liquidations from my Floatzel. Next up then, they send out Donphan, and I'm going to protect myself to get a bit more leftover recovery to begin with. And then I'm going to go switch as well, because I know Earthquake's going to take us down. So I make a switch here over into my Slowbro, who's going to take a lot less damage than Floatzel. With this here, I'm going to go for a Surf with the Slowbro and knock the Donphan down onto Sturdy. And then on the next turn, I'm going to go for a Slack Off and get most of my HP back as well. Now from this end, we're going to go for another Surf on the next turn, and we're going to go take down the Donphan. With Donphan down, Rika's only got 3 Pokemon left. And the next Pokemon she sends out now is a Dugtrio, and this is a one-shot to Surf. And then next up, she's also going to go send out a Camerupt as well. This does hit us with Yawn quite annoyingly, but this is a one-shot to Surf as well, so we're also going to go take this down. After this then, she sends out Clodsire. Now Clodsire is a bit of a problem for us because it's going to go Terrestrialize into a Terra ground type, and it's also got the ability Water Absorb. So as a whole water type team, we actually can't hit this with any of our main moves. So I'm going to make the switch here over into a Azumarill, and we take a Toxic as we do. From here though, I'm going to Belly Drum, put myself into +6, and I'm going to go hit this with an Ice Spinner after and take this down with a one-shot. Now with this done, that's Rika of the Elite Four defeated. After this then, I'm up against the second member of the Elite Four, Poppy. I'm going to start this fight against our lead Pokemon with Floatzel, and hit this with a low kick, which puts it into very low life. On the next turn, then I'll go finish this off with Liquidation. And then nextly, she sends out Magnezone, which is a really scary Pokemon actually. I'll go hit this with a low kick though, thinking maybe we might survive Discharge. And it goes for a light screen, so it clearly didn't see a kill. And then I'm going to go finish this off with a low kick on the next turn. After this, Corviknight comes out and I hit this with a low kick. It doesn't do much damage, and it also sets up Iron Defense as well, which is going to get quite annoying for us. So I'm going to make a switch here before it gets too strong. And I make the switch over into my Slowbro as I get hit by Body Press, and it doesn't actually do too much as well due to not being super effective. After this, we take a Brave Bird, then respond back with Surf. And really my main intention is just to try and keep Slowbro healthy as well while stalling out this Corviknight, because it's going to keep doing damage to itself as well with Brave Bird. And after a couple more turns, we do end up taking another Brave Bird, and then we go finish this off with Surf. After this, Poppy sends out Bronzong, and the second Surf's going to put it onto really low life, and then I think I'm going to try and save some Surf PP here for some reason. We don't take it down, and then we have to go use another Psychic on the next turn to finish this off. But now we're up against Poppy's last Pokemon, which is Tinkaton, and it's going to Terrestrialize into a Terra Steel type. I'm going to stay in with Slowbro, take a Play Rough before hitting this with Surf. After a couple more turns, we're going to go take a Gigaton Hammer. It's not going to still do too much damage. And from here, I can go finish this off with a Surf and defeat Poppy. And with Poppy defeated, now we've got to go get into the next fight of the Elite Four against Larry. So Larry here is going to start off with a Tropius. And we go for a 4-time super effective Ice Spinner and take this down with a one-shot. And then next he's going to send out Staraptor, which is going to give us an Intimidate attack drop. This ain't too bad though, but Brave Bird is doing a lot of damage. So we take the Brave Bird, hit with Ice Spinner and don't kill because of the Intimidate. But I'm going to protect and get a bit of HP back as well. And then on the next turn hits us with another Brave Bird, and we go finish it off with Ice Spinner. From here then next against the Altaria, I'm going to protect to try and get a bit of HP back. And I'm going to take an ice beam as well, which doesn't do too much damage. I'm going to hit this with an ice spinner. And this doesn't kill, unfortunately, so it puts it in very low life. But it's okay for us because it just helps us get a bit more of a protection back in. So I'm going to protect, get a bit more HP back, take a flamethrower on the next turn, and finish this off with the second ice spinner. After this then, Larry's going to send out Oricorio, and this is quite scary Pokemon as well. It's going to go for Revelation Dance. I'm going to protect to get a bit more HP back, and then I'm going to instantly switch straight over into my Vaporeon, who's got quite good special defense. And we're going to take an Icy Wind here as well, which actually doesn't do much damage. It does lower our speed, but we're not going to need that here. And it's also going to hit us with Teether Dance as well, which is kind of annoying. And the only move I can actually hit this with and do some damage is Chilling Water. And thankfully, we snap out of our confusion as well. So when we go for our second Chilling Water, we can knock this down into one shot, and then a third Chilling Water on the turn after will be enough to take this down. And now we're up against Larry's last Pokemon, which is Flamigo. So Flamigo here is going to Terrestrialize into a Terra Fighting type, and I'll make the hard switch here over into my Slowbro. So when we take the close combat, it's not going to do too much. And then on the next turn, we take a Brave Bird as well, which is going to do a bit of chip damage to the Flamigo. In Recoil, I'm going to hit this with the Psychic, and quite crazily, at -2 special defense, this still doesn't kill. We take a Throat Chop after, which, despite being super effective, doesn't do way too much, and we can go finish this off with the Surf. And with that done, that's Larry defeated, putting us into the fourth fight of the Elite Four against Elite Four Hassel. So Hassel here is going to start off with Noivern, and I'm going to start off with my Azumarill. It's going to hit us with Super Fang, which does half our life, and this is a one-shot to Ice Spinner, so I'll go take this down after. Next up then, we've got the Dragalg, and I'm going to protect to get a bit of leftover recovery, and because this is going for a super effective Sludge Bomb, I'm going to make the hard switch on the turn after over into my Slowbro. Sludge Bomb still does quite a bit of damage as well, but at least doesn't poison us. And what I actually wasn't expecting was this thing to, Thunderbolt as well, which does quite a bit of damage to us. I do hit this with a Psychic and knock it down into one shot. I'm going to have to protect a few turns and try and get some HP back before taking a risk of a crit and staying in. Try and slack off and get some HP back. Now with this, I don't want to stay in with Slowbro because I might need him again some point in this fight, so I make the hard switch here over into my Vaporeon as we take another Thunderbolt. So on my first turn here against the Dragalg, I'm going to Wish, take a Thunderbolt, which puts me down into Orange Life. I'm going to go hit this with a Chilling Water on the next turn, which I thought would maybe kill, but it just misses. And then we're going to take another Thunderbolt as well, which is going to knock us down to 40 HP. With this though, our Wish does come out and puts us back up into green life, and we can go finish this off with a Chilling Water on the next turn to take down the Dragalg. Next up then, I'm going to set up a Wish as the Flapple tries to set up a Leech Seed on us. To get rid of the Leech Seed, I'm going to make a switch once again over into my Azumarill. We're going to go take Seed Bomb. It does quite a lot of damage. I wasn't expecting it to do as much, to be honest. We do get our Wish to activate, and on this next turn, it's going to hit us with Leech Seed, and we're going to go take this down with an Ice Spinner, which is a one-shot. Now, with all that done, we're up against Hassel's Haxorus, so I'm going to make the switch again over into my Slowbro, as I know it's going to be able to at least take a lot of the attacks. And with my Slowbro in right now, I tried to risk the paralysis and go for a slack off to get some HP back. And while I've got quite high HP once again, I'm going to make another switch back over into my Azumarill, as it's now going for Crunch. So it hits us with a Crunch, which doesn't do way too much damage. And then I switch once again, and this time over into my Vaporeon. So with Vaporeon now, what we want to do is we want to get into a turn where we've got a lot of HP. We know we're going to survive the next turn, and we can try and hit it with some moves like Chilling Water to lower its attack. So it hits us with Dragon Claw. We lower its attack by one stage, and because it's going for Dragon Claw, now we switch back over into a Azumarill, which Dragon Claw doesn't affect against. Take an Iron Head while at a high HP, so it's not going to be too bad, but we do flinch, unfortunately. Take another Iron Head on the next turn, which again flinches us, so it's kind of annoying, but we can hit this with a Play Rough on the next turn after and finish this off. Now with Haxorus down, we're up against Hassel's final Pokemon, Baxcalibur, and it's going to Terrestrialize into a Terra Dragon type. I'm going to protect and get a bit of leftovers recovery. Take an Icicle Crash on the next turn, which doesn't do too much because it's not very effective. Hit this with a Play Rough, knock it down into one shot, and also lower its attack, which is nice. It then hits us with another Icicle Crash, and we're going to go finish this off with an Ice Spinner and defeat Hassel, the fourth member of the Elite Four. Now with Hassel down, we got to go get into a fight with Champion Geeta. Now with Geeta here, I'm going to start off with my Floatzel, and she's going to lead Espathra, and I'm going to hit this with 2 Liquidations and take this down. Now her next Pokemon, Go-Go, is going to be a bit of an issue for us, and I actually couldn't find an answer for this to begin with. So what my original plan was, I was going to go in with Slowbro. I was just going to have a Rocky Helmet and try and make it chip down itself, while also doing a bit of chip damage, but because it's bulking up, it's getting attack stats and hurting us quite a lot. And then when it also hits us with Horn Leech, it's actually getting all of its HP back as well. So what I've got to do is I've got to try and lower its attack with Charm, and this goes on for quite a lot of turns. In between, I'm going for Protects to try and get some HP back off my leftovers recovery, but this still is going on. After feeling safe with it at -6, I make another switch back over into my Slowbro as we finally found our answer. I'm going to stay in with Slowbro, and I'm basically just going to stall it out and chip it down while it can't do too much damage to me at such a low attack stat. And after a while of doing this, we make the go down to our Rocky Helmet, and we can move on to our next Pokemon, which is King Gambit. So against King Gambit here, I'm going to make a switch from a Slowbro back over into Vaporeon, take a Koto Cleave, which is going to crit us, and I'm going to go hit this with a Charm because this is doing way too much damage to me. So I make its attack harshly fall into -2, into with another Koto Cleave, and then I'm going to Protect again just to get some HP recovery. Set up Wishing, get most of my HP recovered back. And then I'm going to start hitting this with some Chilling Waters, which lowers its attack and also does some chip damage. And after 3 of these, we take it down. And now we're up against the Avalugg again. So I'm going to continue my Chilling Waters, which puts it into -1. It hits me with Avalanche. Doesn't do too much damage. And another 2 more Chilling Waters from here will be enough to take this down also, as we then get up against the loser. So I'm going to make a hard switch here from Vaporeon over into Slowbro, take a Psycho Cut, and then hit this with a Shadow Ball. And then it's going to go hit me with Liquidation as well, which is going to make this a second Pokemon that goes down to my Rocky Helmet. And with that done, now we're up against Geeta's final Pokemon, which is the Terrestrialized Terra Rock type Glamora. It's going to hit me with Sludge Wave, which actually does quite a bit of damage, surprisingly. I hit this back with Surf, knock it down into one shot, and then another Surf on the next turn will be enough to take down the Glamora and defeat Geeta. Now Geeta defeated, I've still got a few more battles left before I can get to Area 0 and fight Toro. So I'm going to go get into the next fight with Director Clavell here. And Director Clavell starts off with an Oranguru, which has got mainly physical moves, so I'm going to bulk up against it. Twice as it hits me with a Foul Play, which actually does quite a bit of damage still. I go put myself up into +2. I stall it out for a bit until its Reflect wears off, hit it with 2 punches and take it down. And then on the next turn, a Bomber Snow comes out, tries to set up an Aurora Veil. I hit this with a Brick Break, break it to Aurora Veil, knock it down into really low life, as it then hits me with a Wood Hammer and takes itself down to Recoil. Next up then is Houndoom. This also goes down to a Brick Break. Then nextly comes out Gyarados. So Gyarados here, I'm going to make a switch over into my Vaporeon, take a Stone Edge, and try and set up a couple of charms to lower its attack stat. After doing this for a few turns, I set up Wish as well, and then make another switch back over into my Floatzel, so I can take an Earthquake that don't do much damage and then get a Wish Pass. With this now, with Floatzel at full HP, I'm setting up some bulk ups once again. Put myself to +1, take an Earthquake, it doesn't do much. This basically repeats itself till I'm at +4. And then with this done, I go hit a Crunch on the Gyarados, take this down with a one-shot. He also sends out a Poltergeist, which goes down to a Crunch. And then next comes out Meowscarada. Meowscarada is going to take a Brick Break, and thankfully it doesn't go for Flower Trick here, because I thought +4 would have been enough to kill, and it doesn't. It goes for Shadow Claw. Thankfully it didn't go for Flower Trick there, because it could have, which would have definitely killed us. And then we go take this down on the next turn, very luckily with another Brick Break, and defeat Director Clavell. So he's very lucky there, because +4 somehow wasn't enough, and we could have very easily lost our Floatzel there. With this done though, we now defeated Director Clavell, and we can go get into a fight with Penny. So Penny here has just got a team of evolutions. She's going to start off with Umbreon on the first turn, and I'm going to start off with Floatzel once again. Now Floatzel for me, I thought I was going to be able to substitute up against the Umbreon and be fine. But actually it was doing a lot of damage with Dark Pulse, enough to break our substitute as well. So this plan wasn't going to work. It's also hitting us with Baby Doll Eyes as well, which is going to lower our attack stats. So when we go for Brick Break, it's not doing too much damage. We're just chipping it really, trying to get it down. And after doing this for a bunch of turns, we finally take down the Umbreon. And then next up, they send out Jolteon. So for Jolteon here, I'm going to make a switch over into my Rug Trio, which is holding an Assault Vest. And we dodge Thunder as well, which is very fortunate for us. It hits us with Baby Doll Eyes, which is kind of annoying because it drops our attack. But I'm going to go for a Dig anyway, put myself underground. And this just gets me out of the way of anything Jolteon can hit me electric-wise. I'm going to come back up on the next turn with Dig as well, knock it down into Half-Life, and then on the next turn put myself underground again, dodging a Thunder, and then coming up with Dig on the next turn and taking down the Jolteon. With this now, I'm going to make a hard switch over into my Slowbro from Wug Trio, and we're going to take a Leaf Blade. And basically we're just trying to get this to hurt itself with our Rocky Helmet. And this plan was going well as well. We made it hurt itself twice through to our Rocky Helmet, and then knock it into low life with Shadow Ball as well. And then on the next turn, when we take another Leaf Blade, this actually critical hits us. So very unfortunately, we lose our Slowbro, which I was really upset about actually, because Slowbro was one of my best Pokemon in this run. From here then, I'm going to send back out Wug Trio though, and Wug Trio is going to go take this down with an Aqua Jet. After this then, Penny sends out Flareon, hits us with Baby Doll Eyes, puts us into -1. I'm going to go hit this with a Liquidation, drop it into really low life, then take this down with an Aqua Jet. And then next up we've got Vaporeon. Now Vaporeon's kind of annoying here because basically we've got Water Absorb, so we can't hit with our main move. So just chipping it down with Headbutt until we're at really low life. From here then, before it can take us down though, I make a switch over into my Floatzel with 2 Brick Breaks and take this down. With the Vaporeon down now, we're up against Penny's final Pokemon. She terrestrializes this into a Terra Fairy type. I'm going to get a bit of leftover recovery before switching over into my own Vaporeon. Taking a Moonblast, which does quite a lot of damage. And because of this, I'm going to go set up a Protect on the next turn before setting up a Wish. And this basically continues every time. So when I'm back at full HP or quite high HP, I'm going to do a bit of chip damage on the Sylveon with Chilling Water. And it's very lucky actually that this went the way it did, because it gets a Moonblast on us and gets a critical hit, which puts us into really low life. Now I'm just keeping this up again, stalling out a couple turns, making sure I stay healthy, especially after that critical hit as well. So I don't want to lose a second Pokemon to a crit in this fight. And it's getting hard for us as well because it's lowering our special attack a couple times with Moonblast too. But Vaporeon's going to be fine. We make it run out of Moonblasts, knock it into really low life with Chilling Water, and then on the next turn can use another one of these, take down a Sylveon and defeat Penny. Sadly it comes at the cost of losing our Slowbro though, but with this done, Starfall Street was completed. From here then, I go back into Mesagoza City and go get into a fight with Champion Nemona. And starting this off here, I'm going to lead with my Floatzel. I'm going to be using Bulk Ups against the Lycanroc to begin with, as his moves are doing quite a bit of damage but not way too much. So I've used it twice already. I then go use it a third time, get hit by another Stone Edge. And from here, I decided I'm going to go for one more Bulk Up as well, just so I can take down all of the Pokemon. Lycanroc knocks me down into just above half-life, and now it's starting to hit me with Accelerock as well as I go set up a Substitute. After setting myself up in a Substitute, I go hit the Lycanroc with Brick Break and we go take this down with a one-shot. And the reason we basically got the Substitute up as well is just in case Pawmot survives or hits us first. But we are faster than the Pawmot and we go hit this with a Brick Break, and this also takes that down. Then nextly, we got Dunsparce. This is also a one-shot to Brick Break. After taking down the Dunsparce, Orthworm comes, and this is also another one-shot to Brick Break, so this goes down too. And then nextly, she's going to go send out a Goodra. Now Goodra here is another one-shot to Brick Break, so again, just an easy one-shot, we take this down. And then lastly, she sends out Skeledirge. A Skeledirge here is not one-shot to Brick Break, and it's also going to hit us with a Shadow Ball as well. We're going to go hit another Brick Break on the Skeledirge, take down the rest of its remaining HP, and defeat Nemona. With this part done now, I've got one more battle against Arven, and this is where we do our normal first battle of it. And he's going to lead off with Greedon, as again I lead off with my Floatzel. So Floatzel here, it's going to take a Body Slam from the Greedon, and unfortunately this actually paralyzes us as well, so we're quite unfortunate there. I do set up a second Bulk Up here and put myself into +2, and take a second Body Slam. And with this, I'm also going to go take down the Greedon with a Brick Break. Now here comes another grass type I struggled quite a bit with, which is Toxicroak, as I wasn't able to go take this down because I was paralysed. And then on the next turn after this, I still couldn't take this down because I was affected by paralysis again. So I am going to have to go make a switch here against Toxicroak because it's got me into really low life now and there's nothing I can do. So I make a switch here over into my Vaporeon. And again, Power Whip, it's just doing way too much damage for me to handle. We've been hit by it twice now, and I finally go hit this with Charm to try and make its attack a bit weaker. During all of this, we're still protecting in between as well, so we can get some recovery. And I'm also still going to keep wishing as well, so I can keep getting my HP back up to full. And after getting myself back up to full HP, I'm now going to start doing some chip damage on the Toxicroak, as it then hits me with Spore to try and put me to sleep for a couple turns. And now with this, it starts hitting me with Earth Power as well, which actually lowers my special defense too, which means every time it used it, it's going to start doing more damage. I go for a second Chilling Water that puts it down into half-life as well in this turn. My next Chilling Water then will knock it down into one shot. And then on the next turn from here, I can go for another Chilling Water after taking an Earth Power and finish off the Toxicroak. with Totodile down. His next Pokemon that comes out is Scavillain, and Scavillin's energy ball here does way more damage than I would have ever thought, considering I had an assault vest. So I know now that I'm probably got nothing that can handle this, especially with a hard switch. So I'm gonna have to sack away Bug Trio unless he crits. I go for the liquidation, it doesn't crit, and we get taken down by a crunch. After this, then I send out the loser, who's going to go revenge kill the Scavillain with a liquidation. Gargancle comes out after, takes a liquidation as we dodge a Stone Edge, and then we go finish this off with Aqua Jet on the next turn. But after this, he sends out Cloyster, who after 3 Psycho Cuts is going to go down. And lastly, we're up against my Bostiff. So against my Bostiff here, I'm going to go and make a hard switch back over into my Vaporeon, take a crunch after it terrestrializes into a Terra Dark type, and this does a lot more damage than I thought it was going to do. So from here, I'm going to have to protect, try and get some leftovers recovery before I can set up a wish. And with this, I get myself into quite a high amount of HP again before hitting this with a charm, lowering its attack into -2, getting another wish set up to get myself back up to full HP, and then starting to chip this down with Chilling Water so we can lower its attack. So after 2 Chilling Waters, we put it down into Regular Life, a 3rd Chilling Water will put it down into Red Life, and then we go finish it off with a 4th on the next turn, defeating my Bostiff and defeating Arven, so we can go and complete the Path of Legends. Now with the Path of Legends completed, we're now going to head into Area 0 to get into the final battle of a run. And while down here, I was actually really surprised because again, I wasn't looking for it and I just ended up finding myself a shiny Iron Bundle. And what's crazy about this as well, Iron Bundle can be used in the run too because it is a water type. So it's just really fortunate that I managed to find this in an area full of many different types. So I go capture the Iron Bundle. I go do a bunch of training after to get everybody up to level cap, and then I go get into the final fight of the run against Toro. Now with Toro here, because it's a final fight of the run, it does not matter if any of my Pokemon die, but honestly I did not expect this battle to go the way that it did. I knew I was going to win, but the way that it went was just unexpected. So Toro comes here and he initiates a battle, sending out Iron Moth as his first Pokemon. It was just unexpected because it wasn't planned. I send out Iron Bundle as my first Pokemon, and we equip the item that we pick up just before we go down the elevator, which is a booster energy, and this is going to activate and heighten my special attack due to the ability Quark Drive. Now with this, we're also going to go terrestrialize that Iron Bundle as well into a Terra Water type, and I'm going to go hit the Iron Moth with Terra Blast. So this takes this down with a one shot. Then next up we get up against the Iron Hands. So Iron Hands hit us with a Fake Out, then we go hit this with a Chilling Water which lowers its attack. Now because of this we survive Thunder Punch on the next turn, and then I go take this down with a Terra Blast after. The next turn after I go for another Terra Blast and one shot the Iron Thorns, and I also go for a Freeze Dry as well on their Iron Bundle and take this down with a one shot. And then after this then I'm going to go for an Ice Beam and Iron Jugulis, take this down as well. And now up against Toro's last Pokemon, which is Iron Valiant. So Iron Valiant here is going to also use its own booster energy and heighten its attack. But it ain't going to matter because we're faster. I'm going to go for another Terra Blast here with Iron Bundle. And it's going to take this down also with a one shot, sweeping Toro's entire team and winning us the fight. And with that done, Toro was defeated, meaning that we've beaten the challenge and we've beaten the run. That really went completely different to how I expected it going in. But anyway guys, with that done, it means that we've beaten a challenge and beaten the run. Honestly guys, this video took a really long time to make. I teased it about 2 or 3 months ago now. It's really been going on for that long, but it's finally done. I really hope you've all enjoyed as well. And if you have enjoyed, make sure you give me some love on the comments and ratings, because honestly, like I said, this took a really long time to make. So I'd be really appreciated if you could do that. It helps support the channel and it also helps grow the channel as well. So it would be really appreciated. Also guys, if you are new here and you made it this far and would like to see more content just like this, make sure you subscribe. I'd love for you to stick around for future uploads. Also check out the channel as well. I've got loads of videos just like this as well that I think you'd also enjoy. And honestly, that's it. I hope you've all enjoyed. It's been Ant, and I will see you all in another video very soon. Peace out guys.